You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time.
We are days removed from the 2025 NFL Draft. All the picks are in the books. UDFAs are coming thick and fast as well. So to delve into all of that and just general NFL news is myself and the host of GTD. Tell them what time it is.
It's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond, but across the world. I'm your boy, Charlie Touche. Got my co-host, Kadeem Simmons, with me. It's always for the fans and by the fans. Your favorite podcast, and official affiliates of Fanatics, where you could be a fanatic of your favorite franchise. Kadeem, what's the word?
It's been an interesting one. We've had a few days. You've had 24 hours, 48 hours, depending on when you're listening to this, to kind of fully reflect on I feel like a largely positive NFL draft for the Miami Dolphins, with a few moments of we could have done this, we could have done that. But I think definitely what we needed over here at Go Time Dolphins was sleep. Because by the end of the day 3 stream, we were tired. So thanks for everyone for joining along with that. Everyone who kept us sane in the comments. Everyone who subscribed over the last few days as well. We are currently, want to get this perfectly right, we are 58 subscribers away from 5,000. So please continue to subscribe, like videos, comment on them as well as we get to another milestone. But yeah, I think everyone is now, doing their recaps, doing their reviews of the NFL draft, and especially the Miami Dolphins. Was it like 8 or 9 picks?
It was a handful of picks for sure. How you feel about it in totality? Like, what is your overall draft grade for the Miami Dolphins?
Before I get to that, shout out to the guys in the comments. Alexandra Foncree says up fins up. JML says, hey fellas, what's up? And Rob Ashton says, hi everyone, hope we've all recovered from the marathon session. My on paper draft grade for the Miami Dolphins is I'll give it a B minus. No, I'm going to give it a C minus. I'll tell you why. I was going to give it a B minus in terms of the players that the Dolphins actually drafted, but I need to then look at what the weaknesses were coming into the draft, and did they fix those weaknesses heading out of the draft? And it falls down to a C minus because, as we said multiple times during the stream, we are basically one injury away from Liam Eichenberg playing significant snaps next season. And for that reason alone, I can't give it anything better than a passing grade, like C minus, do better next time.
This is the real question, Robert Ashton. Who got the responsibilities that night? You or Hannah Montana?
I didn't need the toilet. But we kind of have a routine at the moment where Hannah does the night shift and I do the morning shift. So Hannah woke up maybe twice during the night to feed and change him. And then around 8 o'clock, I woke up, took him into the front room with me, grabbed some coffee, watched some film of some players. And then, Hannah woke up around midday-ish, 1 o'clock, I think. So, yeah. The pizza's finished off from my end. Hannah's hasn't finished her end of the pizza. But yeah, that's it basically.
So back to the grades. the further we get away from it, the more we have to, like, we could digest it a little bit, since we're talking about digesting stuff. And the Kenneth Grant pick, for those who don't know, Go Time Dolphins had 5 mock drafts: 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, and 5.0. Mock draft 5.0 from Go Time Dolphins. Go Time Dolphins drafted Kenneth Grant in the first round, at 13th overall. If you go back to mock draft 5.0 and watch it for yourself, we were a bit hesitant and a little reluctant to take Kenneth Grant in mock draft 5.0 at 13 overall. And if you look at my reaction specifically, it was I think my words were eh, something like that. It was like, you feel me? So mock draft 5.0 is on the screen right now for all the audio listeners. But if you go back and watch it, you can see we were a bit reluctant to take Kenneth Grant first in the first round. But the jury's out. It's going to be out on Kenneth Grant for a couple years. And I know people want to call booms and busts. Well, it's funny how people won't call someone a boom in the first season, but they'll call them a bust in the first half of the season. It's crazy how that works. But the first round pick, like anybody drafted, if you're a draft pick, you have years to develop and to really state and lay your claim. So the jury's going to be out on Kenneth Grant for a long time. Somebody who I don't think the jury's going to be out on is Jonah Savaiinaea. I think he is going to boom. I think he's going to be a Pro Bowler every year, almost every year. I think we're going to be extremely happy with him. And you never know. And I should probably change the subject because I'm coming off the heels of talking about Jonah, but you just never know what prospect. You're surprised it doesn't happen more often, Kadeem, that these kids, they're in their early 20s, they come across millions of dollars. You don't know who's gonna come to work with their lunch pail and their hard hat and be 10 toes down. And I'm surprised people don't blow it more often. These kids don't blow it more often. I'm surprised some of them are caught up in more scandals than what we see. I'm surprised someone doesn't blow their money more often than what we hear. I'm surprised there aren't more addicts in the league that what we know of, or people who gamble more often, or people who do illegal activities with their money in their early 20s. But Shedeur Steve said this to me one day about Tua Tagovailoa. He said, listen, he's okay. This is what he said. This is before Tua took a snap, I believe. I don't even think Tua took a snap. And Shedeur Steve said, look, yeah, Tua's okay. And we're never going to hear a story about him having like a prostitute in his trunk. That's what he said, right? You're not going to get that story from Tua. You know what I'm saying? So you could feel safe about that. And there were a lot of safe picks in this draft, Kadeem. But to take 3 D tackles and 1 O lineman, when I really wanted to see us take 3 O linemen and 1 D tackle after the draft, I'm like, nah, man, this is a C grade for me. And I guess C is passing, but C is almost failing. You know what I'm saying? So it's a C grade for me. I think it's a C plus for the Mel Kipers of the world. And I am unhappy in a sense, but I love the fact that we got Jonah Savaiinaea.
So I'm looking at you see my head moving over the place. I'm looking at the NFL draft grade that they gave the Dolphins, and we get the correct tab. They gave the Dolphins a B plus. What's interesting is that they gave the day 1 grade a B minus, and then the day 2 grade an A minus, and then the day 3 grade an A plus. So that the Dolphins got better as the days went on. Basically, they felt that Derek Harmon or Walter Nolan would have been better value picks, but they loved and please help me pronounce his name again.
Jonas Savaianaya.
Jonas Savaianaya. I will try my best to remember that. Shout out to Finn's Faithful Podcasters. Great job, fellas. Great job for you guys as well. Welcome, Cap for Life as well. Rob SAFC. I'll get to one of your comments in a minute. And then, yeah, they basically say that the defensive tackles, shows team commitment to stopping the run and X, Y, and Z, basically. But yeah, let's remove that as well. Thank you very much. So much off my screen right now, talking to myself. So yeah, I don't know if we're going to see the Dolphins go and get veteran presence on the offensive line over the next few days and weeks. And there was a lot of belief around Dolphin social media, which was the veterans available are better on the offensive line than the defensive tackles, basically. So if you're going to go heavy on one position group, it would be defensive line because you aren't going to find good defensive line help after the fact. And while I understand that, I still would have gotten offensive line help because in the nicest way possible, there's a reason why the defensive linemen are still available. And, we've said it over and over again heading into the draft. This is a deep offensive line class. You have the opportunity to build not just a starting five, but backups who are going to be good for years to come. And I feel like the Dolphins really, really failed to do that. So yeah, I can understand why some people are giving it a B- or an A. But if you whiff on offensive line, you can't get anything above a C for me.
Any O lineman available now is not worthy of starting. That's it. So since when was this an abundance where the NFL had an abundance of O linemen that were startable on the market? I don't remember that. Like people don't trade O linemen because you can't get them, so no one trades them. So nah, bro. I think you have to develop O linemen, find O linemen, draft O linemen, trade for them if you can, and by all means necessary. And I think you can find D linemen in every draft, in my opinion. Like you should. It's almost like running backs. Like you should be able to find your godchilds in the 5th round, like the Dolphins did. Obviously, he wasn't like some perennial Pro Bowler, but he did well for us. Godchild. How you feel about some of these? Like, are there any what draft prospects interest you the most that we drafted late round?
Late round.
While Kadeem ponders on it, if everybody could hit that subscribe, hit that like, we appreciate you. I think Kadeem said we're 55 subs away from 5,000 subs. So we appreciate everyone who rocks with Go Time Dolphins. And if you're an audio listener, it goes a long way if you can give us a 5-star review on your audio podcast platform, whether that's Spotify or Apple Music. Appreciate you.
Thank you very much for that. And yeah, do as he says. I'm torn between two players, and they were our 6th and 7th round pick, Ollie Gordon II and Quinn Ewers. I'm going to start with Quinn Ewers because it's what the Dolphins said about Shedeur Sanders, which fascinates me the most. So, pick 143, we took Jordan Phillips, the defensive tackle from Maryland. At pick 144, Shedeur Sanders gets drafted. Now, we had a lengthy discussion at the start of our day 3 stream talking about Shedeur Sanders. Shout out to former Miami Dolphins friend of the podcast, Will Hayes. Came on the show, had a phone call, and we spent a lot of time talking about Shedeur Sanders. Chris Greer said after the draft was finished that they had a lot of discussions about taking him on day 3. And that would have been fascinating to see him in Miami, simply because of the whole circus, quote unquote, around, you know, his family, around him, and around everything. So I say that to say this: Quinn Ewers being taken at pick 231 to me is the most fascinating pick, because it could have been Shedeur Sanders, 100 picks ago. And I just think that obviously they made a conscious decision to draft Quinn Ewers. I believe that decision started around last year's draft class when Mike McDaniel was looking at Xavier Worthy. And at Xavier Worthy's pro day, he was getting passes thrown to him by Quinn Ewers. So I believe there's probably been around a year of looking at this quarterback and all that kind of stuff. But the fact that the Dolphins came out and admitted, whether they said it truthfully or not, that they were looking at Shedeur Sanders, to me, I find fascinating, and makes the Quinn Ewers decision to draft him, I should say, sorry, really interesting, because if Shedeur Sanders turns out to be anything in the NFL, this might come back to haunt Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel.
It'll haunt all 32 teams. What do you mean?
Of course, yeah.
Every team will be haunted by it. But my thing about Ewers and Sanders, Ewers, he has a chance to be okay. He really does. He got the Ken Dorsey effect, kind of, for me. Ken Dorsey played on the best team ever assembled in college football. Everybody and their mom was on that Miami Hurricanes 2001 team. Ken Dorsey was the quarterback of it. That's why no one respected Ken Dorsey, because it's like, yo, I could have quarterbacked on this team. I don't agree with the sentiment, but hey, Quinn Ewers, I think he played with Xavier Worthy, Matthew Golden, Adonai Mitchell. I think Adonai Mitchell was a first-round pick, was he? Second-round pick? That's three. That's 3 first or second-round picks, regardless of how you look at it. Maybe Bijan Robinson and Roschon Johnson. It's a lot. There was a lot over there for Quinn Ewers. So Sanders, on the other hand, here's my thing about Sanders. I think Jim Haslam, I think his name is Jim Haslam, the owner for the Browns. I think he did it. I think he pulled the trigger. I think he ordered a code red. I think he was at what? I think he was sitting there like, hey, what's going on with this Sanders kid? You know what I'm saying? And then they were probably telling him, and Haslam's like, I'm sorry, do we have an abundance of quarterback that I don't know about here in Cleveland? You know what I'm saying? And did we not just spend $200 million on some quarterback that doesn't play for us? I like, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? So it's not many times you see Charlie Touche do this. It's not many times you're going to see me go on other teams' platforms, whether it's the actual Cleveland Browns press conference or the actual, for example, last time I was on the Patriots official New England Patriots YouTube, it was the Miami Miracle. I gotta see people's reactions over here. You know what I'm saying? I gotta come over here to get more of this. So I went to the Browns YouTube and I heard their post-draft conference, and it was like 2 of them. And a reporter, by the way, it was 17 minutes long. The post-draft conference was 17 minutes long. 15 minutes of it was on Shedeur Sanders. So that's exactly what I was talking about when it's like, hey, it's gonna be loud with Shedeur Sanders. So we're not even talking about the trade. We're not talking about Mason Graham. We're not talking about none of that. We're talking about Shedeur Sanders for 15 minutes. So you're gonna get that for his, I don't know about his whole career, but you're gonna get that in season 1 for sure. The whole offseason, you're gonna get it. And is your team prepared to handle that conversation? And we're going a little long on Shedeur, but I'll wrap it up with this. Andrew Berry, the GM for the Browns, didn't look happy, and then Kevin Stefanski was clapping for the pick, and the reporter was like, "Was this your pick, Andrew, or did Haslam go above you and say he wanted this pick because you didn't look happy about it?" And Andrew Berry was like, it's a long day, and we're probably just tired. We're happy for every pick." And Kevin Stefanski came in with the correct answer and saved them and said, "Oh, the timing of the film is never really lined up. You never know when they catch you, right?" Bailed them out. But in reality, bro, Jimmy Haslam is sitting right there. and they had to trade up to get him. So now that means there's 2 players that the Browns wanted that they did not get because they drafted Shedeur Sanders. And if I'm a GM and I have my plans, I for sure would feel some type of way about that. But that's here nor there. And at the end of the day, he's gonna prove somebody right or prove somebody wrong. Like, you can't beat out Dylan Gabriel, Joe Flacco, and Kenny Pickett. You're not supposed to be in this league, bro.
And Deshaun Watson.
Dylan Gabriel, Joe Flacco, and Kenny Pickett, you're not supposed to be in this league, bro. So, yeah, Ollie Gordon, for me, on the other hand, I don't know if you were done with Shedeur Sanders, but Ollie Gordon, on the other hand, is the dude that I'm interested in. It could get quite crowded quickly in Miami running backfield.
Yeah, had a phone conversation with 5 Yard Lee about him earlier, and you watch the tape and you see someone who not only runs hard but blocks hard and blocks quite well as well. And I've been on record in saying the reason we didn't see much Jalen White last year is because I don't think his blocking was up to standard for what the Dolphins needed and was required to get meaningful snaps. And I think if Gordon can come in and show that not only is he a willing blocker, but a half decent blocker as well, I think you will see him replace Mattison very quickly. As at the big back, the power back, it's 3rd and 1. We're gonna have him on the field because not for 2 reasons, and it's most 2 obvious reasons. It's not only, hey, he can use these, we can run the ball and get that 1-2 yards, but because he can block as well, it opens up the playbook. Play action, everyone bites, 2 are fine to whoever he wants to. So I'm also on record saying I wasn't the biggest fan of acquiring Alexander Mattison. I don't want to see Gordon beat him out just because I don't like the pick. I want the best man to win. I want the best people on the field as much as possible. But yeah, Gordon, I think a lot of Dolphin fans are really pleased, or they are excited by the prospect of what this kid can do in aqua and orange over the next season and beyond.
How you feel about our undrafted free agents?
I find it somewhat fascinating that the first 4 or 5 were wide receivers, and they were quite big wide receivers as well. Which again to me says a few things. One, Tyreek Hill had probably gone sooner rather than later. You can't replace Tyreek Hill with just one guy. You're gonna need 2 or 3. And the more wide receivers you have in the building, it gives you the best option to try and find Tyreek Hill replacements. So yeah, I found that really interesting. But I am furious at the fact we didn't pick up Seth McLaughlin. That's when I was like, that to me, that would have been the first call I make. And I would have given him a lot of money. Shout out to the Bengals for getting it done. When he's leading them to multiple wins and becomes the best center in the league, me, and I'm sure you as well, will be sitting there saying, I told you so, and the Dolphins messed up. But no, quite a lot of wide receivers, a few DBs. I don't think many offensive linemen. I will double check. So yeah, I found that quite interesting, basically. How about you?
There's a couple of receivers, and they paid a couple of receivers to come here. And I think you only get a certain amount of money that you could pay undrafted free agents. And they gave one like 200 bands, guaranteed, something like that. But I know I disagree. I don't think they brought in receivers because Tyreek Hill is gone. If you're going to replace Tyreek Hill, you should be drafting receivers, not depending on undrafted receivers to replace Tyreek Hill. So there's actually a side of me that, it kind of feels like Tyreek might be around for the season. I just don't believe he'll play. I don't believe it. I don't believe Tyreek Hill. But hey, Jalen Ramsey's out of here. We know that. Yeah. Like if you listen to GTD, we had a not a breaking, but what do we call it? An update, like an exclusive update via Go Time Dolphins on Jalen Ramsey. He's not playing for the Miami Dolphins. It's a wrap. Tyreek, on the other hand, he might be in a Miami Dolphins uniform, but I don't think he'll play in a Miami Dolphins uniform. I don't believe that. So I'm anxious to see how this season plays off. They have my undivided attention now. I'm like, Let's see. This is how it's not supposed to be. This is not supposed to be like this. This is not supposed to be a soap opera where I can't wait to see what happens in the season next. You see what I'm saying? Like, I can't wait to see how the season unfolds. It's not supposed to be like that, and that's unfortunately what it feels like. Shout out to Jalen Phillips. Dude looks like a dude all over again, bro. It's crazy how that happens, dog. So I don't know what we're gonna get, man.
So looking at the UDFAs, there were two more interesting ones for two different reasons. One is long snapper Neeland Hibbert from Alabama.
Yeah.
And he's interesting because, as we mentioned, what has happened with Blake Ferguson? He misses the back end of the season, and we are told that on social media, we are told whatever's keeping him out is essentially so bad. When it comes to light, people are going to look at the Dolphins and go, why did you basically keep him on the roster? And nothing has happened so far. Nothing at all.
So
the second,
hold on, he's gonna make the team, bro. Not only is he gonna make the team, he's gonna start. And I don't have any problems with Jake. Is Blake or Jake? Is his brother named
Blake.
Jake?
I think his brother's Jake, but he's Blake.
The Ferguson brothers. You know what I'm saying? I don't have no problem with Blake. I don't. I really don't. And I hope it's not too bad what comes out. You know what I'm saying? And Jalen Conyers is going to make the team too. Jalen Conyers is a tight end. Where'd he go? Texas Tech? Oklahoma?
Ding, 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 ding.
Texas Tech. So Jalen Conyers with the Texas Tech. And for my dollar, you know how I always say, like, a great value version of this, great value version of that. And I feel like he might be a lesser great value version. He might be like the Wish version. You know what Wish is online, Kadeem, where you order something and then they show this picture of what you're ordering, and then you get it in the mail and it's not that at all, but it's like this low budget form of it. He might be that of Brock Bowers. That's who Jalen Conyers is. And to get him as an undrafted free agent, I think you'll be happy with that. You see what I'm saying? So Conyers makes this, and Neeland makes it as a long snapper. Everybody else, I think they're playing for practice squad positions.
Yeah, I know quite a few people are high on Andrew Armstrong and Monterey Baldwin. I saw someone tweet something along the lines of Monterey Baldwin was, basically he's played in a similar system. He's going to be fine. There was also, I think there was someone else people quite high on, quote unquote. But, this happens all the time. There's players who people are really high on straight after nothing much happens. Also, while we're talking about UDFAs, shout out to KP3, Kendall Poole III. He got a minicamp invite to the Las Vegas Raiders. He is a slot corner. Went to, what school did he go to?
East Texas A&M.
East Texas A&M, same as
Kader Kohu.
Thank you very much. Mine's baby brain. But shout out to KP3. So happy for you. I know you're gonna do really well out there in Vegas. We are all rooting for you over here at Go Time Dolphins.
So I think one of these undrafted free agents also went to Texas A&M, East Texas A&M, formerly known as Texas A&M Commerce. So there's some, it's like connections where if we just got another undrafted free agent like we did with Cater, and we had Kendall Paul III on Go Time Dolphins, shout out to KP3 the GOAT. Something kind of tells me that there's a chance he probably could have came to the Dolphins as well, because we pulled somebody else from there over there too. So yeah, man. You got anything else before we get into the bonus time, Kadeem?
Yep, shout out to Charlie Wilson. He says Jalen Conyers can absolutely play fullback as well as tight end in a H-back role. Good on special team. You guys got us still there. Charlie, love, you are coming on very, very soon. Let us know when we will sort it out. But no, I have nothing else to add before we head into overtime.
Come on over to overtime with us. Y'all know what time it is. Stay positive, test negative. For Kadeem Simmons, I'm Charlie Touche. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time. Already.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's showtime. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's showtime. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's showtime. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no
time. Thank you for tuning in so far. Obviously, on both social medias, Twitter and YouTube. If you haven't already, drop a 5-star review on Apple Music, Spotify, wherever you get your Apple or your podcast from. And if you are watching on YouTube, then please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. We are around 50 away from 5,000 subs. Charlie, I guess there has been some talk about the Dolphins interested in Rasul Douglas and some other veterans CBs. Are there any you are hoping the Dolphins to bring in, or any players in general? Who have you got in mind?
Stephon Gilmore. I think 34-year-old Stephon Gilmore is better than every corner on this team except Jalen Ramsey. Give me Stephon Gilmore over everybody. If there's a way you can land Stephon Gilmore and Justin Simmons, I'll feel a lot better about a lot of things. Like right now, the way the team is constructed, we have a D-line and that's it. So we're going to get torched on the back end, and we're just hoping the D-line can get home. If you add one corner like Stephon Gilmore, then it's like, okay, well, we feel better about one side of the field. Not saying that he's locked down, but we feel better about it. And then you add one safety, you feel even better about it. So you can compete with one corner, one safety, and a great D-line like we have. So if we could land a safety in a corner, I'll be all for it.
Yeah, I think I'm looking at 3 corners: Rasul Douglas, Stephon Gilmore, and Asante Samuel Jr. And then Justin Simmons. But then also, we said it, or I said it on the live stream. We had a conversation around it. The 3rd round pick the Dolphins picked up as part of one of the trades during the draft. If you can use that to go and find a corner or go and find an offensive lineman, go and do it. I saw someone say the Dolphins should use that 3rd round pick on Tariq Woolen. Charlie Wilson, I'm going to ask you about that. When you come on the show. I cannot imagine the Seahawks giving.
Yeah, why would Seattle give them to us? Like, why would they give to us like that?
No idea. So unless this guy knows something that we don't know, Charlie, has he had any issues with the team? But a 3rd round pick right now might not entice everyone. I believe the Dolphins are also looking at Greg Newsome as well from Cleveland. So it sounds like they know they need help at corner. Hopefully they can go and get that done as soon as possible. Although we do have months until everyone's back in the building. So, but no, it's been an interesting 72 hours. As I feel like the Dolphins community is quite positive about where the team is heading, which I did not expect at all. Basically,
you don't understand how upset or how disappointed I am, bro, that we only drafted one O-lineman, bro. One O-lineman, bro. Like, it's like you sold us on, we're gonna have to address the O-line now, like we did in the year you drafted 3 O-linemen. Remember, you drafted 3 O-linemen. I thought we was gonna get that, bro, and we got one O-lineman. So we're one injury away from catastrophe. That's all I got right now, man.
We have some interesting episodes coming up over the next few days and weeks. We have a Jalen Ramsey interview, hopefully with Fins Extra. We have a Jersey episode, which is going to be so interesting given recent news. We have our annual CTE episode.
Oh, whoa, my bad. Did you hear about that? The Patriots taking Jonas Savaiinaia?
Yes. Oh, I meant to get to that comment as well. I'm so
shout out Jason Keck and everyone talk about it right now. The Patriots, it was a Patriots podcast out there. I can't remember what podcast it is. Sorry. But it's a Patriots podcast where the Patriots were discussing taking Jonas Avainai or a lineman at 38. They're taking a lineman at 38, and the Dolphins traded up to 37, took Jonas Avainai, and then at the end of the draft or something like this, and then I know this is not the best reporting, but at the end of the draft, it was, well, we didn't have to argue about the lineman we were going to take because he went before us. And it was like the Dolphins traded up and sniped Jonas Avainai. You know how upset I would have been? Bro, the Patriots drafted all the people I wanted. And if they would have took him too, I would have been like, I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. So Dolphins got away with one.
Yeah, I think much of the discourse, the negative discourse was that the Dolphins gave up too much to go and get an offensive lineman. But had the Dolphins, he was never going to be there at 48. It wasn't going to happen. So moving up and going to grab him before the Patriots is smart business. And yeah, the way you feel about the Patriots draft, I feel about the Paper Planes draft. So many guys who I would have loved for the Dolphins to take, but that's just the way, the cookie crumbles. Jason Keck agrees with you that they half-assed the draft and that the defense got most of the picks. And yeah, Cap, King of Finland tweeted basically the clip from the show. So go on Twitter, King of Finland, you'll see it. But I can imagine, Patriots having Will Campbell and Joseph.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Sound like what I wanted the Dolphins to do. And they took, I think they got like two Shades 24 players over there. Patriots, and the Patriots draft is A+, by the way. Go figure. Like, you taking all the players I want and you end up with an A+ draft. I don't like it.
100%. But guys, a shorter one by our standards, but still plenty of nuggets and stuff. So thank you so much for joining us today. We shall see you in a few days' time. Until then, we shall see you soon. Peace.
Oopsie.